It's a great pleasure to call Mark Fletcher to make his maiden speech.
Madam Deputy Speaker, it's an incredible honour to speak in this chamber for the first time as the Member of Parliament for Bolsover. It's a particular honour to do so with you in the Speaker's chair, as I went to school in your constituency. I would like to start by saying thank you to all of the House staff and authorities who have been so welcoming to us newbies as we get lost continually. The guidance produced by the House of Commons Library suggests that you should start your maiden speech with a tribute to your predecessor. I felt very much like that there was a paragraph missing, which tells you what to do when your predecessor was a giant of British politics. Dennis Skinner became a Member of Parliament in 1970, and he served the great people of Bolsover for 49 years. He fought tirelessly for his constituents locally, and it was incredibly heartening to hear on street after street and doorstep after doorstep in the campaign of the work that he had done to help people. Dennis also became known nationally for his uncompromising contributions in this chamber and his heckling in the Queen's speech. Feared, admired and respected, Dennis Skinner is synonymous both with this House and with the constituency I now represent. And I think it would only be fair and a great tribute if we can arrange for a statue of Dennis to be built in the constituency to honour his service and to inspire the next generation in Bolsover that they too can help shape the world. I would very much welcome the support of the opposition front bench on this proposal, as well as the government. And I may even suggest that the Scottish National Party may wish to support it, given that they finally got the bench space that they had so long desired. Thank you, sir. The Leader of the Opposition has already paid tribute to his fallen comrade and my predecessor in the House, and I suspect he is better placed to do so than I, other than to say that Dennis is, was, and will always will be the beast of Bolsover. Madam Deputy Speaker, the wonderful people of Bolsover have very discerning tastes, or at least they did until the 12th of December. I am only the third Member of Parliament to serve that constituency since its creation in 1950. Both of my predecessors made their maiden contributions in this House on the topic of the coal industry, and I wanted to try and continue in that vein with today's speech on the green industrial revolution. Bolsover is proud of its mining past. Its geography, communities and landscapes were moulded by that once great industry. But we know that mining is not our future, and Bolsover is one of those post-mining communities where potential is plentiful but not entirely unleashed. The challenge of becoming the first major economy to become carbon neutral by 2050 is one that we should relish, where we look to our science and research sectors to find new solutions and innovations. We should be optimistic about our future as a leading economy, as a country that is well placed to develop and build green technologies, and in our ability to meet the climate challenge head on. But we must also ensure that in that challenge, no community is left behind. Madam Deputy Speaker, I can see what you're thinking. The weather outside is not so great. There are still dozens of maiden speeches to go. Recess is only a few weeks away, and mentally, you're flicking through the travel brochures. The beaches of Bali, Barbados and Bermuda are calling. But can I make a suggestion that is equally, if not more, splendid? Bolsover. Bolsover's tremendous tourism trade is beginning to thrive, and you will meet the friendliest constituents in the country. You can visit our 17th century castle, or you can make your way to Hardwick Hall, an Elizabethan masterpiece. You could start your journey by rail in the picturesque village of Whitwell, travel through Cresswell and see the Cresswell Crags, and onto the powerhouse that is Shirebrook. of which it has many achievements and is also where the great Jason Statham originates. Or, Madam Deputy Speaker, if you insist on driving through the most magnificent constituency in the country, you will be pleased to find that the M1 snakes its way through Bolsover. Although I should warn you that we are the beneficiaries of a so-called smart motorway. You can start in the village of Balborough, pop into Dobby's for a cup of tea, maybe visit the council offices in nearby Clown, and then you can head to junction 29A, where you will find Markham Vale, the very best place in the country to set up a business if you require good transport links. You make your way a little bit further south and head to Pinxton, which is famous for its porcelain, and do a spot of shopping at the MacArthur Glen outlet. I should say that nearby are the headquarters of a very famous business, Slimming World, but they seem not to have written to their new MP. Perhaps they know a lost cause when they see one. But, Madam Deputy Speaker, the largest part of my constituency is just next to Pinxton, the mighty South Normanton. My first engagement in my new role as the Member of Parliament was at the South Normanton Community Church, where they debuted a new production based on the pop lyrics of a Pink song. It was called What About Us? It spoke of the challenge that we face in this House, ensuring communities in the Midlands and the North that have felt overlooked and undervalued for too long feel like politics is as much about them as it is about the City of London and big business. Yeah. That we are interested in delivering jobs and opportunities, transport upgrades and broadband connectivity in post-mining communities as we are elsewhere. Yeah. That we care about tackling antisocial behaviour and ensuring our National Health Service remains a cherished institution. It is a challenge I believe the new members on these benches will relish. Yeah. I omitted one part of my constituency, Madam Deputy Speaker, or in political language, I saved the best for last. Because if you make your way through Blackwell or Tibshelf, you'll find 4 wards on loan from North East Derbyshire Council that are also in my constituency. Homewood and Heath, Pilsley and Morton, Sherland and Sutton are certainly where you should finish your visit. I'd recommend a visit to the beautiful village of Woolley Moor, or if you're feeling particularly active, you can make your way along the Five Pits Trail. Madam Deputy Speaker, if I may finish on a personal note, today and the 12th of December were both bittersweet days for me. I am indescribably honoured that the people of Bolsover thought that an openly gay, Cambridge-educated lad from Donny was the obvious successor to Dennis Skinner. But I'm also drawn to thinking about my mum, who passed away in a tragic accident when I was 17. At that time, I lived on my own, and I felt like my world was falling apart. I miss her tremendously and wish she was here today. But as I sat on these benches yesterday, listening to a number of maiden speeches by my colleagues, which were considerably better than my own, I was also struck by how many of the new intake have overcome tragedy, adverse circumstances, disabilities, or a difficult upbringing. So many of us have found ourselves at one stage or another the underdog in life. And equally, I was struck by how that motivated us to want to make a difference, to help other people when they need it most. And perhaps, most importantly, how we all remembered those who helped us in our moment of need. I listened to honourable members pay tribute yesterday to the teachers who helped them and inspired them to reach these benches. And in my own case, I'd like to thank the amazing teachers at Dagenham School Technology College, like Dave Irons and Val Cusworth and so many others, who treated me like I was their family and made me feel a little less lost. Madam Deputy Speaker, this is an intake that I am incredibly proud to be a part of, because so many of us overcame difficulties and we know how lucky we are and how things might have been so different for us. Our mission in these privileged positions that we now hold is to make our world a little bit less reliant on lucky interventions and ensure that this Conservative government gives working class kids the best possible start in life.
Clive Lewis.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker.